Have you dared to walk away from a narcissist? Brace yourself, because you're about to be swept into an emotional whirlwind that this arrogant manipulator will unleash to protect their fragile ego. Do you think they'll accept defeat with grace, bow out quietly, and walk away like a mature adult? Or will they roar in fury, launching desperate attacks to claw back the illusion of control they've grown addicted to? In this video, we're diving deep into the twisted psychology of narcissists, where carefully polished masks are torn away to reveal the terrifying truth beneath. You'll witness their unpredictable performances, from laughable immaturity to dark, calculated schemes, all designed to serve one goal: to reclaim the control they're so obsessed with. They won't stop at anything from portraying themselves as pitiful victims to manipulating everyone around you with silky lies. Narcissists will say and do whatever it takes to keep their ego fed. One moment they whisper honeyed words in your ear, the next they lash out with blade-sharp insults. Everything is part of the performance, a performance centered around their grandiose self-image. But don't be afraid. This video will shine a light on the darkest corners of their behavior, giving you the tools you need to recognize, confront, and protect yourself from their chaos. Get ready, because what you're about to discover will not only open your eyes, but give you the inner strength to stand tall in the face of even their deadliest blows. Let's begin. Step one, they will ignore you, but don't be fooled by the silence narcissists. With egos inflated like a dazzling but fragile balloon, carry a deep, gnawing fear. The fear of losing control. They build towering walls of arrogance and artificial grandeur, but behind those walls lies a trembling insecurity. Their world revolves around cold calculation and psychological manipulation, because only when they're gripping everything tightly in their hands do they feel stable, able to push back the shadows of vulnerability, powerlessness, and exposure. They don't live to connect or love, they live to dominate, to be the center of every emotion, every gaze. So when you dare to ignore a narcissist, don't expect a dramatic retaliation right away. They'll go quiet, but don't mistake that for surrender or letting go. Their silence is not an empty pause, it's a calculated weapon. Behind that silence, they're watching you from the shadows, cold eyes tracking every movement, every flicker of your expression. They want to know, what will you do next? Will you break? Will you crawl back? This is a psychological tactic meant to sow doubt in your heart, to make you question your worth and second-guess your decision. They're hoping your patience runs dry, that you'll return, pleading, explaining, maybe even begging, just to thaw the ice they've deliberately created. In their warped worldview, your silence is merely a gust of wind, never strong enough to put out the flame of admiration they're convinced you still carry for them. But don't be fooled. They're not just sitting back waiting. Narcissists are never truly patient. They're restless, obsessed with control. While pretending to ignore you, they'll quietly stalk your life, scrolling through your social media, analyzing your posts, your likes, your comments. This isn't idle curiosity, it's surveillance. They're hunting for a weakness, a crack in your armor they can wedge themselves back into. They want you to believe they've moved on, but the truth is they're watching your every step like a predator that can't bear to be without its prey. To them, you are not just a person, you are a source of emotional oxygen. When you cut off that supply, they can't withstand the isolation for long. Your silence becomes a dagger in the heart of their pride. And when they see you aren't reacting, aren't yielding, aren't falling apart, they won't stay quiet. They'll launch a new war, armed with new tactics, new manipulations, all in an attempt to drag you back into their orbit. But what are those tactics, and how do you spot and defeat them before they sink their claws back in? Stay tuned, because this journey into the narcissist's true nature has only just begun. And in it, you'll find not just awareness, but the power to rise, stronger than ever before. Step two. They'll play the repentant sinner, a perfect performance to trap you again. If you've never heard of it before, let me tell you this. The world of a narcissist is a meticulously staged love drama with 4 dramatic acts: idealize you as a priceless gem, devalue you when boredom strikes, discard you without a second thought, and finally, hoover you back when they realize you're slipping out of their control. When your silence from step 1 signals a real threat, that their grip is loosening, they won't hesitate to bring back the very tactic they used to capture you in the beginning. a seductive love assault, a carefully crafted illusion designed to resurrect dead feelings and drag you back into the emotional vortex you thought you had escaped. The narcissist will transform, morphing into the dream partner you once fell for. Their voice will drip with sweetness, their eyes will gleam with manufactured love, their gestures gentle and romantic, replayed like a slow motion reel from your most cherished memories. They'll awaken in you the most beautiful moments, the times when you believed the love was real and everlasting, stirring in your heart waves of longing and nostalgia. They'll paint a future filled with healing, forgiveness, and endless love, as if the cruel person who once shattered your trust was just a ghost, a mere illusion. You may find yourself hoping, convincing yourself that maybe they've changed, that maybe this love still stands a chance. And if you're a parent who was once abandoned with the weight of family responsibilities, be warned. They may suddenly reappear in the role of the devoted father or selfless mother. They might show up at 1 a.m. claiming they couldn't bear to be away from the kids, even though they previously vanished without a care while you carried everything alone. Don't be surprised if they cry, beg for forgiveness, talk about sleepless nights haunted by regret, or even threaten self-harm to manipulate your compassion. They'll become poetic, spouting lines powerful enough to melt even the most logical hearts. Just give me one more chance. I can't live without you. You're all I have. They're betting on your empathy, on that unresolved piece of love or lingering wound they can still exploit. But my friend, stay sharp. Don't let this perfect performance deceive you again. Beneath that emotional, sweet facade is still the same cold, selfish person with an unquenchable thirst for control. Hoovering, the term used to describe this tactic of sucking you back in, is not love. It's not genuine remorse. It's a desperate maneuver to keep you trapped in the cycle of pain they've grown so comfortable with. They don't need you for who you are. They need the emotional fuel you provide. Their tears, their begging, these are not expressions of regret. They are tools of manipulation, weapons aimed at your doubt, trying to reverse your decision and recast you in their performance. Remember, your worth is not defined by how well you please them or save them from themselves. You deserve a life free from empty promises. Don't let your compassion become your weakness again. They may act well, but you hold the power to walk away, to choose yourself, to heal, and to live a life untouched by their illusions. Keep watching, because the next steps will expose how they escalate the game and how you can shield your heart from the attacks still to come. Step 3, they will attack when the mask falls and the beast emerges beneath the glittering exterior, beneath perfect smiles and sweet words. A narcissist is, in truth, a shockingly fragile creature. Their ego, though inflated like a towering mountain, is as brittle as glass, ready to shatter at the slightest threat, even a cold glance or your unwavering silence. They fear rejection, abandonment more than anything in this world, because these are the daggers that pierce straight through their pride, exposing a truth they cannot bear, that they are nothing without someone to manipulate, someone to admire them. And when cornered, when their control slips away, they are no longer the master performer. They become a wounded animal, more vicious and dangerous than ever. When their previous tricks, the role of the hopeless romantic or pitiful victim, fail to move you, they'll tear off the mask and reveal their true face, bitter, hateful, merciless. They'll launch a full-on assault with no hesitation and no mercy. They'll dig through your past like a deranged treasure hunter, turning over every stone to find even the tiniest flaw. An old mistake, a forgotten bill, a private confession you once trusted them with. Everything will be twisted, exaggerated, and weaponized into cruel arrows aimed directly at you. They might file anonymous complaints, spread slander among friends and coworkers, or fabricate wild stories just to drag you into chaos. Their goal isn't truth or justice, it's your collapse. They want to break you down, so you'll run back to them begging the very person who caused the storm to save you from it. But that's not all. A narcissist won't hesitate to sabotage your life in more tangible, direct ways. They might deflate your car tires in the middle of the night, cut your power during a storm, or spread malicious lies that shatter your reputation. They know you're fragile in this stage, wounded, unsteady, still reeling from the toxic bond. And they will exploit this vulnerability as a golden opportunity to strike again. They want you isolated, hopeless, convinced that life without them is a hopeless abyss. And still, they'll show up at your favorite coffee shop, your gym, even your front door, pretending to run into you by chance. They'll smile warmly, speak gently, ask how you've been with apparent sincerity as if none of the destruction ever happened, but don't fall for the warmth in their eyes or the sweetness in their voice. It's just another act in their grand play designed to make you waver, to question your decision, to wonder if maybe they've truly changed. They want you to open your heart one more time so they can crush it again. Be vigilant, my friend. Narcissists are psychological masterminds, emotional illusionists of the highest order. They know how to seed guilt, trigger self-doubt, and create a sense of helplessness to reel you back under their control. Do not underestimate the danger. From subtle digs to full-on character assassination, they will do whatever it takes to win. But you are not a helpless victim in this game. Your worth is not tied to enduring them. It's found in your strength to protect yourself. Stand firm, sever all ties, and remember, every step you take away from them is a step closer to true freedom. Keep watching because the next chapters will unveil more of their twisted playbook and how you can become the victor in this psychological battle. Step 4, they rewrite the story and flip the script, a masterclass in reversal theater. When the wall of silence you've built becomes an unbreakable fortress, when the narcissist feels the sting of your cold indifference like a blade slicing through their overinflated ego, they begin to suffocate. The absence of your reactions and attention, the very energy they once thrived on, now becomes an unbearable void. Their proud sense of self, built on admiration and control, begins to crack under the weight of rejection and abandonment. But don't think for a second they'll accept defeat quietly. No, narcissists never let themselves be seen as the loser. Instead, they unveil the final act in their twisted play, rewriting the narrative, flipping the script to cast you as the villain and themselves as the wounded hero. They'll begin spreading their version of the truth to anyone willing to listen, mutual friends, coworkers, even strangers on social media. In this reimagined tale, they're not the manipulator, not the one ignored or left behind. No, they paint themselves as a reluctant hero, forced to make painful decisions. They'll claim they were the one who left you, rejected you, fired you, ended the friendship, regardless of how clear the real story was. They'll add tearful details, dramatic sighs, and emotional laments, convincing others they were the true victim of your coldness, your ingratitude, or even your betrayal. This isn't just about saving face, it's their desperate attempt to retain some last shred of control, to preserve the illusion of superiority and dominance they're addicted to. But my friend, don't let this reversed script fool you or drag you back into their chaos. They can shout, twist the facts, cry on cue, but none of it changes the truth that they are empty, that they rely on others' attention to feel real. You were strong enough to leave that toxic dynamic, strong enough to build walls around your heart to protect your peace. So why turn back now for a cheap performance built on lies? Let them drown in their own fiction. You have nothing to prove to anyone else. Your worth is not defined by what they say or believe about you, but by how you choose to live, free, at peace, and no longer imprisoned by their manipulation. Keep ignoring them. Don't give them even a glance or a single word in response. Consider this your imposed detox on them, cutting off the energy supply they once drained from you and forcing them to seek a new target elsewhere. Every day you live better, laugh louder, and love yourself more is a silent but thunderous victory over them. They might write an entire novel to comfort themselves, but no one can erase the truth that you escaped, that you rose, and that you reclaimed yourself. This isn't just the final move in their game. It's the beginning of your new journey, one where pretense no longer exists. I hope these insights will serve as a guiding light on your path to freedom. If this video was helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next, where we'll explore more ways to identify, resist, and rise above narcissists, transforming you into the strongest version of yourself. Let's keep moving forward because you deserve a life that's no longer dimmed by their shadow. Step 5. When they can't manipulate you, they manipulate everyone around you. When a narcissist realizes you've awakened, that you are no longer easy to control, to emotionally sway, or to guide like a puppet, they reach for a more dangerous weapon, manipulating how others perceive you. If they can control your mind, they'll try to control the world's view of you. This isn't just petty revenge, it's a calculated effort to isolate you, dismantle your support system, and push you into emotional vulnerability and loneliness. They begin by distorting the truth, sometimes with a well-placed half-truth, other times with outright lies adorned with the flair of a tragic victim. Your small mistakes are exaggerated. Minor conflicts are reframed as proof of your toxicity. In their version of events, you become the cold-hearted aggressor, and they the poor, suffering soul who endured it all. They perform convincingly teary eyes, trembling voices, and a carefully curated narrative that tugs at the sympathies of anyone who hears it. They don't just spread rumors, they target those closest to you. Your best friends, coworkers, even family. With strategically crafted statements and subtle insinuations, they cause the people you once leaned on to start questioning you. Maybe she is too sensitive. He seems different lately. These seemingly harmless phrases are invisible blades, slowly severing the connections you once trusted. Day by day, you begin to feel like you're living in a warped reality, where your voice is ignored, your truth dismissed, and you stand alone in a sea of suspicious glances. This is one of the narcissist's cruelest psychological blows. Without even touching you, they cause emotional collapse by reshaping your environment into something unrecognizable. And when you finally speak up to defend yourself, they frame it as drama, label you as crazy, or say you just can't move on. This drives you into silence, into retreat, and that's exactly their goal, to push you off the stage of your own life. But here's the truth. You are not the villain in their fabricated narrative. You are not the monster they've convinced others you are. You are the only one who truly knows how deeply you've loved, how much you've endured, and how real your pain was behind the silence. Don't lose yourself just because the world temporarily turns its back. Those who love and see clearly will recognize the truth through the fog of deception. And you, don't waste your breath explaining what was never yours to defend. Focus on healing. Rebuild your circle with those who are worthy. Stand tall, step forward. Remember this, truth does not need to shout to survive. It only needs to be lived. And you, with your resilience, dignity, and inner light, are the loudest testimony of all. They can build a fake world, but they can't sustain it. And you can rise, become stronger, and rewrite your story with a truth they'll never be able to mimic. Step 6, when the truth begins to speak, you may feel helpless when falsely accused. You may feel alone when those around you start to believe the version of the story they've been told. But be patient, because truth, like the sun, may be hidden for a while, but no one can stop it from rising forever. A narcissist can manipulate words, situations, and even the emotions of others, but they cannot manipulate time. They cannot permanently suppress people's intuition. Once the thick fog begins to thin, cracks will appear in the false narrative they built. People will start to recognize a suspicious pattern of problematic relationships. They will begin to notice the familiar motif, tearing one person down, then quickly moving on to the next victim. And that doubt will become awakening. Remember this, you don't need to shout to be believed. You just need to stand firm. The calmer and more grounded you are in your truth, the more absurd their lies will sound. The more the narcissist tries to over-explain, the more they reveal the insecurity and deceit woven into every word they speak. People will begin to ask the right questions. Why would someone as composed as you suddenly become the villain? And that's when the truth starts to emerge. One by one, friends, coworkers, even family will start to look back. Some may not say anything at first, but trust will begin to waver. Those who abandon you may feel regret. Some will quietly return. Others may apologize, and some will even defend you against new distortions. Truth has that kind of power. It doesn't need to manipulate. It doesn't need to scream. It only needs one person brave enough to hold on to it until the end. When you stay true to your path, you don't just protect your honor. You open a door for others who were misled to finally see the light. You become a mirror for those still trapped in the web of another narcissist. You become someone who chooses authenticity in a world easily misled. And that is worth more than any justification. Remember, truth doesn't need to rush. It only needs you. The one who walks with dignity, who chooses to move forward without being dragged down by smear campaigns. And one day, it won't be you speaking for the truth. It will be the world speaking for you. In the end, you realize you never needed to win a battle you didn't choose. You don't need revenge to affirm the truth. You don't need to scream to be seen, because it is your calm, your silent healing, and the light within you that narcissists fear the most. They may manipulate others' perceptions for a time, but they can't manipulate the light of truth forever. They may try to paint you as the problem, but they can never erase the goodness and dignity you carry within. And when you rise, not to fight, but to walk away, that is the moment you reclaim ownership of your life. No one can make you feel small when you stop seeing yourself through the eyes of others. No one can take your spiritual freedom when you finally understand your worth without needing anyone's validation. The narcissist may go on seeking new prey, crafting new performances, but you are no longer part of that distorted narrative. You've stepped out, heart mended, eyes wide open, and a soul no longer under their control. Your story doesn't end in collapse. It begins with awakening. You are living proof that they did not destroy you, they could not control you forever, and they can never touch the powerful version of you that has emerged. So keep walking, head high, heart open, not for revenge, not to prove anything, but simply because you deserve a life that is truly free, truly peaceful, and no one has the right to take that from you, not even those who once brought you to your knees.